Hello. Hi, PWIC. Hi, my name is Christine File. I work with MassMutual with our data and technology group. I head up all things people and culture for the data team. I've also got my colleague Mike Alexanian here as well, who works in the data analytics space, and we'll hear from Mike in a bit. So thank you all for joining. Please share questions in the chat. We'll leave a lot of room for engagement. But let's dive right in. So first things first, before we get into the meat of what MassMutual is and why I love working there, I do want to acknowledge that while we're taking time and having an awesome conference today, I do know that this is an incredibly difficult time for our world. And for many of us, we are probably juggling a lot right now. Exhaustion, school systems, grief, perhaps. So I just want to acknowledge that and say we are too. And I just want to acknowledge that and say that before we start. But thank you for taking time today for this space. So what is MassMutual? Who are we? What do we do? So MassMutual has been around for quite some time. We've been around since 1851. We are primarily a financial services company. We offer a range of services from life insurance to retirement services. But why we're here talking today is because, as you know, finance and technology are intersecting in ways like they never have before. So we, as a team, are growing rapidly, and we want people to come and join us in this digital transformation that our company is going through. Where are we located? We have offices in Boston. Our headquarters is in Springfield, Massachusetts. We also have offices in Amherst and New York City. We also have an incredibly flexible remote force that is engaged in non-pandemic times and pandemic times. I will say that MassMutual at the moment is fully remote. 98% of our workforce able to move remotely very quickly back in March. So all hires, all interviews, recruiting, hiring is fully remote now, as is all onboarding. And we expect to stay that way until it's safe to return to the office. Before I pass it off to Mike to really dive into kind of some more of our project work and the meat of what we're doing and some of the roles we're looking for, I do want to take a moment to speak on why I really respect the company that I work for and am happy to work here. MassMutual is a mutual company. What this means is that we don't have shareholders that we don't issue stock. Our shareholders and our shareholders are our policyholders. So the individuals that we're reporting to are our customers. This allows us to be a bit more flexible, where we're not trying to report to a quarterly earnings report for our shareholders in the market every quarter. We can make really long-term beneficial decisions for our policyholders and our customers. And this kind of mutual mentality seeps into everything we do. So it affects the way we treat and engage with our employees. MassMutual offers some of the benefits that you'd typically expect: paid vacation, a 401k, and a match, etc. But then also kind of all these perks that you might not expect: volunteer time paid off, generous maternal and paternal leave benefits. And a pension, which you don't often see these days as well. So MassMutual really takes care of its employees from a benefit perspective, but then also from a purely just human and person perspective. MassMutual has a lot of resources as well, such as our business resource groups. I listed a couple here. These are a great way for individuals to engage with others, run events, and build community at MassMutual besides outside of the project team. Like I said, our technology team is growing quite rapidly. What's on this slide is just a sample of the types of the kind of teams and the kind of work we're doing now. So if there's a tech job in mind, we are likely offering it. So please engage and ask questions about where you might be a fit for our team if you're interested. But one thing I want to say before we get into that is kind of like how we work and what our culture is like as an organization. We are very much a curious group that has a focus on learning and collaboration. So if you're someone who likes to teach others, who likes to learn, has a natural curiosity, you enjoy kind of like furiously working on a problem that you can't get out of your head, that's the kind of team that we are. So knowledge sharing is a big part of what we do. And here on this slide, on the right, you can see that we host meetups that the public can join. And these run typically every month. We've been there's a little more spaced out in virtual times, but our next upcoming talk, I didn't update it. It's on, I have the wrong date in here. But if you click on that link, you can see all of our upcoming, if you go to meetup.com to Boston Data Science Meetup, you can see all of our upcoming meetups and check out the kind of cool stuff that we're doing and learning about. We'd love to engage with you. At this point, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Mike, to talk more about what's actually happening in the day-to-day in our teams.
Certainly. Hey, Christine, thanks a lot. I also have with me one of my partners, Sukumar, who's another delivery lead within the data analytics space. So we're both here to kind of provide any insight or answer any questions that folks may have regarding the opportunities that we have available within our organization. When I think about data analytics, for us, as it kind of says, we're trying to transition to a unified and governed BI reporting analytics platform, enabling MassMutual to drive performance, which, for a lot of folks is probably pretty much motherhood and apple pie, right? Almost everyone and their brother is trying to do the same thing with that. That said, what I think makes our organization a little bit different than a lot of the other places that I've worked with in the past is the organization that we're a part of. As Christine kind of mentioned in the slide earlier, there's a number of different groups that are part of data strategy and architecture that makes this organization unique. In my experience, I haven't come across a team that's comprised of enterprise data governance, data science, data analytics, data engineering, enterprise architecture, as well as a development program. Those disciplines or domains don't normally all live together. A lot of times you have a technology group, you have an analytics group, you've got data governance. They're all kind of independent, or they're all over the organization, and they kind of connect to each other. The fact that we're all rolling up to one person kind of forces, in a good way, collaboration and integration. And we see it in our day-to-day work, in the way that we partner and we work across the teams. And it's really refreshing for me, as a person who's kind of been in this space for a while, to see this type of partnership. It's not an us versus them. It's not like different groups. No, we're all working together to drive the use and utilization of information around business performance. It's a really exciting an exciting opportunity, and this amazing place. It's really smart. I'll just put it that way. When we talk about the different types of roles within a data analytics organization, what we're looking for within our space is primarily what we call BI developers or business intelligence developers. We happen to be primarily a MicroStrategy shop. We also leverage some other tools like Looker and Tableau, but primarily MicroStrategy. We also need what we call business analysts or business systems analysts, those types of people that understand how to engage with the business, to define the what and the why, to understand the how. How are you going to use this information? Why is it critical? What are you going to do with it? be able to kind of do some data mappings and gather requirements and put together mock-ups and wireframes around what the reporting may look like. We also have the need for what we call data analysts, so those people that go in and do profiling and look at the underlying data. Where does it exist within our environment? What's the profile? What's its cardinality? And those types of things, and what are the relationships between one environment and another to do mappings, because we obviously, within those that are familiar with the enterprise reporting analytics space, the requirement tends to bring, as I'm starting to get my hand motions, to bring data together. The information tends to live in lots of different places, and we'll work with our data engineering partners to bring it into an enterprise data repository, but that's not necessarily a prerequisite for us. For us, it's more important about gathering the right data and ensuring that we are able to deliver it to our customers to answer the questions that they have. And by customers, I mean internal customers, like people within finance, within marketing, or within the field. And, we need to be able to provide the right data at the right time to answer the right question, regardless of where it exists. Do we want it to exist in an enterprise data repository? Sure. I'd love for it to be curated and organized that way. But if it's not there and I have to go to a system of record, then I have to go to a system of record, and I work with my partners to figure out how to get that. We also need to have what we call product managers, those folks that lead and engage and understand, what type of information we're gathering, again, how it's going to be used, but taking more at a senior level. And for me, it's probably a better term to call them initiative leads, where they're engaging and they're driving the delivery of a requirement, the delivery of an artifact, the delivery of a reporting application. Sukumar, do you have anything that you'd like to add to what I've already added in regards to types of roles and the functions that we're doing? If you go off.
No, I think you covered everything. I don't think you left anything for anybody else to say.
Okay. And there was actually, as I said, do you have anything to add? I actually came up with one more thing. Also, the way we're kind of organized. So within the data analytics space, we've actually started to look at ourselves within domains or portal structures. So one of the new concepts that we've kind of looked at was, who are the consumers of the different domains of data? So I'm currently supporting what's called Sierra. Sierra has to do with sales. It has to do with incentive. And my information is being delivered to the field. So all the different agencies that are out there selling MassMutual products, my environment is supporting their ability to understand how their agency is performing, what their agents are doing, and the types of sales and commissions that they've actually been able to acquire, as of yesterday. We update every single day. Sukumar is building out a different portal. His is from the HR side. We have another teammate that's doing something from the digital operations side. We have another teammate that's doing something from the digital analytics side. We've got another teammate that's doing something from the enterprise risk side. So we're establishing these domains of information to interact and interface with. And so there are delivery leads that are aligned against each one of those groups. And then we have separate teams that all work together, but we have separate organizations, within the data analytics space that are delivering on those requirements, those programs. Just wanted to add that additional color, Christine. That's all I got. That's it.
That's great. Mike and I are both keeping good eye on our time here, because I know we have a brief moment to connect with you all. We're getting a couple questions about connecting, not just on data analytics, engineering, and science, but also some people who are interested in UX roles. Chris, if you don't mind me just directing to you, if there's a specific recruiter people should be talking to if they're interested more in user experience.
Sure. Thanks, Christine. So I would say that the way we're aligning the positions on the back end in terms of how we're receiving the applications and the questionnaires that are going along with the positions posted, they're going to go to the aligned recruiter that is working on that role and the aligned sourcer. So there's nothing that they would have to do specifically. Just essentially follow the direction that's given. And then if there's positions that, for example, I would say the only other position that has specific instruction is for the data engineering programs, where they have to submit a portfolio along with it. And our landing page on PWIC has specific direction on where to go, and all the instruction on the portfolio page on the MassMutual website as well.
Nice, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to just keep answering questions until we get kicked off, so I'll keep going. There are questions about sponsorship. There are some positions that are sponsored. Typically, the more junior you get, the less you'll see sponsored positions. But if you click on any job description, you'll see if sponsorship is a requirement for that role.